the letter she never sent. There are some stories that don't begin with love. They begin with silence. This is one of those stories. It was a quiet evening in a small town where time moved slower than dreams. The sky was painted in soft orange, and the air smelled like rain that hadn't fallen yet. Arav sat in a corner of a tiny cafe, staring at a cup of coffee that had already gone cold. Every day, at exactly 5 in the evening, he came to the same place. Same table, same window, same empty chair across him. People thought he was waiting for someone. They were right, but she hadn't come for 2 years. Her name was Mira. They met on a rainy day, the kind of rain that makes strangers talk. She had rushed into the cafe, laughing as drops of water fell from her hair. The seat across Arav was the only one left. "Is this taken?" she had asked, and just like that, his life changed. They talked about small things at first, books, music, the dreams they were too afraid to say out loud. But somehow, with her, silence never felt awkward. It felt safe. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into memories. Every evening they met there, no promises, no labels, just two souls slowly learning each other. Until the day she stopped coming. No message, no explanation, only silence. At first, Arav thought maybe she was busy. Then he thought maybe she was angry. Then he started wondering if he had imagined the connection completely. But still, he came back. Because love doesn't always need hope. Sometimes it survives only on habit. One evening, as the rain finally began to fall again, the cafe owner walked toward him with an old envelope. "She left this," the man said softly. "Told me to give it to you if she didn't return." Arav stared at the letter for a long time before opening it. Her handwriting trembled across the paper. "If you're reading this," it began, "it means I didn't have the courage to say goodbye." She wrote about fear, about dreams that pulled her to another city, about believing that leaving quietly would hurt less than explaining everything. And at the end, she wrote, "I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I loved you too much to ask you to wait." The cafe suddenly felt smaller. The sound of rain grew louder. For the first time in 2 years, he understood. Some love stories don't end with two people together. Some end with understanding and a quiet smile. Arav folded the letter carefully and placed it back into the envelope. The next day, he didn't come to the cafe, or the day after, because finally, he wasn't waiting anymore. Months passed, and one evening, in another city far away, Mira walked into a different cafe. She sat by the window, watching strangers pass by, and as she opened her bag, a familiar envelope slipped out. She smiled gently. Sometimes love isn't about staying. Sometimes it's about remembering someone so deeply that even distance feels like a shared secret. And maybe, somewhere in another cafe, at another sunset, two hearts quietly thanked each other for a story that was never meant to last forever, but was beautiful anyway. And that is how some love stories live on, not in endings, but in echoes.